Transfer rater time, and we have got 5 of the latest names from the rumour mill. Mark Ogden joining me now to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And we'll start with number 1. It is Weston McKennie from Schalke and the US men's national team to go to Southampton for around £20 million. He's said to want to move to the Premier League. This could be his chance, Mark.
Yeah, and Southampton would be a good move. You know, they're a good club, Southampton. They're a progressive club, and they need a midfielder, having just sold Højbjerg to Tottenham. So, you know, people always get excited about people like Pulisic going to Chelsea and links with, you know, other big clubs. But if you're a player that's looking to move to the Premier League and you want to prove yourself, Southampton is a great club because they give people a chance and the spotlight isn't too intense there. It's the expectation isn't too high. So if McKennie can get a move to Southampton, he's done really well. And I think they're a club that look at that sort of deal. So I think there's a lot to be said for this deal.
In at number 2, it's Paulo Dybala to leave Juventus, which is crazy and ridiculous when you think about it, because he was a Serie A MVP. He's said to be a little bit upset that his name comes up every year on the transfer list if Juve are trying to raise funds. But it does seem strange that they'd let a player like that go, surely.
It does seem strange they'd let him go, but they tried to let him go last year when Manchester United and Tottenham both tried to sign him. And, you know, Juventus do need to raise money because they're having to pay for Ronaldo. He doesn't come cheap. And, you know, Dybala is probably the most saleable asset, really. If you look at that squad and the age that he is and the profile he has, they could get more money for Dybala than anybody else. And it is all done to kind of make sure that Ronaldo stays and he stays happy and things. So I think Juventus would be a big loss. It'd be a big loss to Juventus if Dybala left. But it doesn't surprise me that they're possibly looking for offers because, like I say, they can get a lot of money for Dybala.
Talking about players leaving clubs, Gerard Pique to leave Barcelona is next on the list. He said himself after that loss to Bayern that he would put himself even out there to leave if that's what's best for the club. That's what he wants. I saw some crazy news as well that maybe Michael Keane is being touted as his replacement. But can you see Gerard Pique leaving Barca?
I think if Michael Keane replaces Gerard Pique at Barcelona, I'm not sure that would be the deal of the century somehow. I think, Michael Keane's a good Premier League centre-half, but he's not a Champions League Barcelona player. Pique to leave, I think I can see him leaving Barcelona, but I'm not sure where he'd go. I think, he's in his early 30s now. Pique's got a lot of miles on the clock. And as great a player as he's been, I do think it'd be hard for him to go down from Barcelona unless he's looking at a move to, Qatar, like some of the former Barcelona players have done, or perhaps even MLS. I think Pique is one of those players that would take on a new challenge. And while, his wages would obviously make it impossible at the moment for a move to MLS, I think that he's realistic enough to know that he'd have to take a drop in wages. I think it'd be fantastic in the US, Pique, because he's a great ambassador for the game. He could be a real trendsetter. He could be, a modern-day David Beckham if he went to MLS. And I think that sort of thing would appeal to him rather than going to another club in Europe where he's done everything in Europe. What else could Gerard Pique do in Europe that he hasn't already done? So, maybe go, what if we go to Miami or go to LAFC? Something that would really kind of drive the interest of the game in the US. So I think the cost might be too high, but I don't think it'd be the worst idea.
This is a player next up, Andreas Pereira, to go to Benfica. Now, I think you can probably correct me if I'm wrong. He signed a long-term deal last summer, but he does want first-team minutes. Doesn't look like that's happening anymore. So can you see this happening? Yeah,
I think that Pereira will be one of the players that leaves United this summer. There's a few players that, heading out of the exit door. And I think that, in recent months, he's just faded from the first-team picture. He's had his chance, and I don't think he's grasped it. So if he can get a move to Benfica, that would be a fantastic move, a big club, Champions League club. I think he'd do well in Portugal. I think that he's had a couple of loan spells in Spain. He's not cut out for the Premier League, Pereira, but I think if he went to Benfica, he would do a great job in Portugal. I think it'd be a good move for all parties.
All right, speaking of Manchester United, they are said to be potentially looking at Bournemouth winger David Brooks if they can't get Jadon Sancho. What have you made of these reports?
I think this is one of these stories that, Man United look at a lot of players. They will have a list of 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 players per position that they want to sign or want to keep an eye on. And I'm sure David Brooks is on that list. And it could be a case of people looking after David Brooks ringing Man United saying, are you interested in David Brooks? And they'll say, well, he's a player we're aware of. And all of a sudden, bang, you've got a story. Man United are looking at David Brooks. I don't think David Brooks will end up at Man United. I think, there's a big list of players that they want to sign. And Jadon Sancho is at the top of it. I think if they miss out on 6 or 7 targets, David Brooks might become a target. But right now, I wouldn't expect him at Old Trafford next season.
Okay, that concludes today's Transfer Rater.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.